Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a before 9 p.m. start on daylight savings. I mean, this is this is just so nice to have a game where I actually feel like refreshed coming out of it. Everything's working on StreamYard. It's just delightful today. And on a Wolves victory in which Julius Randle posts his first career triple-double as a member of the Timberwolves, a game where maybe he wasn't as loud scoring. We need to have someone from Crunch Wears No Pants, and Brandon Beck, you are that someone today. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Julius Randle's giving me those goosebumps every time. Jaden McDaniels just continues to be the Timberwolves' best player with Anthony Edwards out, and things are kind of starting to come together. I mean, I will say that Brooklyn Nets team is horrific. That is bad.
I'm not gonna out them by name, but one of my colleagues that covers the Nets about midway through the fourth quarter sent me a DM that just said, "How bad is this shit ass team?" Which, like, yeah, fair. I can't argue with that. They are woof. A lot of Cam Thomas. I'm glad we're out of that era of the Wolves where we have Cam Thomas. Because we've had a lot of Cam Thomases come through. Brandon, who's your favorite Cam Thomas on the Wolves?
Oh man, so Cam Thomases are not really my style of player. But I mean, I went through, I think a lot of people did. I went through a brief Jalen Noel period where, like, part of this was driven by my vitriol towards D'Angelo Russell as a player, but I believe there are some receipts in some group chats where I said I would give Jalen Noel significantly more money than I would give D'Angelo Russell to. And I think it was half right because I would just give both of them nothing.
Jalen Noel, I'm a card collector. I will say he has a all-time signature. It's J and then N, and he puts a crown over the A for some reason. It's like, okay, that's confidence right there. That's just oozing like I am going to be signing a lot of things for life. Unfortunately, not as long as he wanted to have for a career, but that's
a nice one. That's not quite as good as have you seen the Bones Highland signature?
Certainly have.
like one out of every 10 he doesn't quite finish that as.
I really am hoping at some point I can catch him, like just where there's not a bunch of people around, and just be like, you're signing your name Boner on like half of your autographs, right? Because that's tough. There's also Jaden McDaniels speaking. Well, this is getting derailed right off the bat, but for the one sports card collector that's going to be listening to this, Jaden McDaniels started when he got drafted. He started by signing his entire first name and last name, like Jaden McDaniels in cursive, and then he must have gotten about 2,000 signatures through, and then he just signs it JM. Like everything past the first product of his rookie season is just JM. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, you can see behind me, I have my autographed baseball collection. So I'm something of a signature guy. NBA players have the worst signatures. Like,
it's really
baseball
bad.
Players are like 50-50. You can like read them. Some of them are just kind of scribbling. Like 90% of NBA signatures, they're not even like attempting to write their name. It's just like kind of like up, down, up, down, up, down. There's a signature.
I'm actually in the midst of listing some cards on eBay right now. And Dylan Brooks, for people at home, that's tough. That's a tough signature.
That's not great.
It is just squiggle.
Anthony Ants is terrible.
Ants used to be good too. Like his rookie year, he would go ANT and he would turn the T into a star. And it's like, okay, that's unique. That's kind of cool. Now it's just,
I think they just get bored. Like it's got to be exhausting to sign as many things as they do. So yeah. I think they just like kind of do something that they can just autopilot, like do as they're running off the court and kids are throwing basketballs and jerseys at them. They can just kind of scribble them on their way by.
I think Jaden, like if somebody asks him to sign something, still signs like his whole first name in cursive. That's very like professional looking and delightful. I think it's just Jaden McDaniels, and we'll start actually talking about the game and Jaden because he had a big impact in this game and has been awesome. But he takes me as the type of guy that like if there isn't a reason for him to like a good reason for him to be doing something, he's just going to kind of half-ass it. And I feel like when he got the mail-in envelope of like 10,000 stickers that he had to sign, probably about after 1,000 of them, he was just like, "This is stupid. I'm not doing
After
this
1,000, I would mentally check out after like 10.
Yeah, I would be over it. It would just turn into squiggles for me, and that's probably more of a characteristic of me and you as people than Lindsay Whalen and these other people who just have these wonderful signatures every time they sign it for every card, but whatever. Speaking of Whalen. Anyways, so Jaden McDaniels, Ant goes down injured. I think, everyone was pretty worried about just where the scoring was going to come from. Jaden, the last like 3 off seasons, they've talked about like how he has developed so much and he's developed this mid-range game and he's really put a ton of time into scoring. And then it just kind of seems like a week and a half into the season, they just throw that to the side and then Jaden just stays doing Jaden stuff. Whereas this year, it seems with that Ant injury, like we're really seeing all of this work that Jaden's been putting in for years. And I mean, if he scores 18 points a game, this is a different team. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think like what's crazy about this game in particular is that Jaden had 22, he missed 2 shots, and he's not even like he's like 3rd or 4th billing on the story of the game. Like there's the Julius triple double, like Dante was fantastic off the bench. Rudy was good in his like ugly Rudy way, where it's like no one watching the game thought Rudy was good, and then you look at the box score and it's like, oh, it turns out they were awesome while he was on the floor. But I think that's kind of like an encouraging thing that Jaden McDaniels going out and having 22 points on 9 of 11 shooting with a couple big blocks and all that stuff is just kind of a non-story now because he has elevated his game so much. And I think it was like halfway through the season last year, it was about the rebounding more, but it was like halfway through the season last year, Jaden was just kind of like, I kind of realized how big I was. And it really feels like that is what has led to this early season leap that we're seeing from him. It's like the emphasis on transition, but also just like the emphasis in the half court on getting to the rim and getting all the way to the rim. Like he's a really good mid-range shooter and he hit a couple nice ones again today. And that's still something that's nice to have in his bag, but he's way less reliant on it right now because he can get to the rim and he's just bigger than everybody else right now. And like, he might be the best finisher on the team. Like, because he's just, the guys guarding him are all so much smaller than he is. And he just kind of like muscles his way to a spot. He doesn't need to get all the way to the rim and then just uses his long arms to just kind of shoot it over the top of him. And then the transition stuff obviously has been the super unlock, is that he's just like, oh, I'll get out and run in transition. And when I go shoot a layup in transition, I'm right at the rim and I just kind of set it in there.
It's wild because last season, I think it was Chris Hine asked Jaden like after practice one day of just like, where's all this rebounding coming from? And he just kind of like, for people that have never heard like Jaden speak, like he's a very like aw shucks, like kick in the sand type of guy, just very like unassuming. And like Chris asked him that and he's just like, I don't know, they just told me I have to rebound more. And then like we asked Chris and he's like, yeah, we told Jaden he has to rebound more. And then in the off season, Tim Connolly was like, yeah, it turns out all we had to do was tell him to rebound more. So like this year it was like, Jaden, you got to go in transition more. And like we asked him about it and he's like, yeah, they told me to do that this year. And it just kind of seems like if they tell Jaden to do something, he's just going to be awesome at it because he's one of their best like offensive rebounders, not named Rudy. You're 100% right. Like his rim finishing is really good. I mean, not many people or not many teams have a guy that can guard someone that's 6'10, 6'9, 6'10, depending on how tall you think Jaden is and what hairstyle he has going. But like, he's so like just twitchy and able to get there. He's a better ball handler than you'd think. And when you have to worry about Julius in the paint and Ant on the wing, I mean, you're getting just probably an average defender every night trying to stop Jaden, which again, if this is the new Jaden, I mean, it opens everything up for this team, because when Ant comes back, all of a sudden, I mean, Jaden's not even going to have the best wing defender on him.
Yeah. And there's going to be like some natural, like a bunch of usage is going to just get eaten up when Anthony Edwards comes back. And so like, that's going to be taken away from all sorts of different places. But a lot of what Jaden is doing, he isn't really like a natural fit for that usage to kind of fall away from, because so much of what he's doing is getting out in transition. And those opportunities are going to happen whether Anthony Edwards is on the court or not. You know, maybe he'll get a little bit less primary creation stuff, but there really isn't that much of his game that is coming out of that right now. It's still a lot of like cutting from the corners. It's the transition stuff. There's a little bit more stuff happening above the break as like a secondary creator, but he can be a secondary creator with Ant on the floor. And like, you know, they'll probably do some staggering with Ant and Julius because of how kind of tough the second unit has been at different times. So they'll probably try to find ways to get that mix going. And so like, I don't think Jaden's going to keep scoring 20 points every night when Ant comes back, but I don't think he needs to go back to year 1 through 4 Jaden that's scoring 12 points a night. You know what I mean?
I think Jaden could sustain this. Like I really do. I mean, like you said, what they're running for him, I mean, it's maybe one like ISO pick and roll play a quarter. I mean, at that, a lot of his stuff is Julius Randle doing that weird Julius Randle thing where it looks like he's going to turn it over and then he just rifles it to the corner and Jaden just drives. I mean, I agree with you. Like 20, 24 points a game, probably not going to happen, but
16 to 18, like,
yeah. And if Jaden's your third scorer, if it's Ant getting close to 30 and Julius getting 24 and Jaden getting 18, I mean, then it just becomes a math type of thing where it's like, okay, now all you need to do is get 30 points from the other 6 guys that are playing. And all of a sudden you have a chance to win every game. I mean, Jaden to me has been one of the best stories, which Professor says here in the chat, 3 ball is the story. I mean, honestly, that has been kind of the story of his career, I'd say, because teams that really match up well against the Wolves, you look at like Oklahoma City last year, they were just leaving him open. If Jaden's shooting 38% from 3, he doesn't even have to be like good, just average. I think all of a sudden that changes the equation too.
Yeah.
What do you
think,
we
talked about this. We talked about this on our episode last week a little bit. I think like, yeah, he's shooting over 40% from 3 right now. He was 2 for 3 again tonight. And I think like the Jaden McDaniels 3-point shooting stuff is kind of all gravy. Like,
yep.
I am more encouraged that this offensive leap from him seems to have kind of come in addition to the 3-point shooting. Like, if he was just doing all the same stuff he was doing in previous years, but was just shooting like an unsustainably high percentage from behind the arc, I would be a little bit more like, well, there's going to be some natural regression that comes in. Like because I don't think if Jaden shoots 44% from behind the arc this season, like he might just be an
all-star.
And that's
he might be an all-star if he shoots 44%. We can
hope for that. But I think like what's cool is that the floor has been set now high enough that if he does shoot 36%, which I think is a more reasonable number to expect from him, he's still taken this offensive leap because of the stuff he's doing at the rim and in transition. And he's still an elite mid-range shooter. And like all of that stuff is not unsustainably high right now. And so the 3-point shooting is kind of a bonus in my head.
The other kind of Jaden related thing I just wanted to bring up before we transition on to Julius.
The block.
He's had like 5 of those this year where it's just like,
I think this was his best one. I think this was his best one this season. That was crazy.
he like, again, I feel like because he's so unassuming, he doesn't dunk a ton. He's not like he's a world-class athlete. Like that guy is, I mean, he's wild in terms of like athleticism. That block, I mean, his like shoulder was at the rim. No, the other thing I wanted to bring up though was just they trotted out a lineup today where Dante was playing point guard. They had Jaden at the shooting guard, Nas at 3, Julius at 4, and Rudy at the 5. And you got to figure when Ant's healthy, you just sub out Dante and you put Ant in. That lineup is like the reverse death lineup of Golden State, where they went really small. I don't know how you account for a lineup with 4, 6, 9 and taller guys on it. And that was a wrinkle to me. I'll be holding on to that one. How about you?
So, I mean, I think it helped once again that the Brooklyn Nets are just one of the worst basketball teams I've ever seen. So they were able to just kind of sit back in a zone and pack the paint, and the Nets were just clanking threes. Like, I think that's the natural counter to that is, that's going to be a hard lineup to guard defensively. But if Nas is guarding the opponent's 3, there's going to be some teams that are going to be able to exploit that a little bit more offensively if they can just kind of like pull it out into a little bit more space. But I do think like it's important when you're a team that has as high of aspirations as the Timberwolves have to have like these little tricks and tools in your bag, these little weird lineups that you can go to in specific situations. So like, I don't think they're going to all of a sudden be closing every game with the gigantic lineup that they closed the game with tonight, but maybe they find themselves in an important game at the end of the season, or maybe even a playoff game in a scenario where someone's hurt or someone's fouled out and a team doesn't have enough shooting. And you have this thing this card you can play that you've seen succeed to some degree. Like you don't need to make it your identity, but you have different, like I said, little lineups and tweaks and things, like having just like a deep bag of adjustments.
I mean, the Golden State death lineup, if you go back and look at that first season, they started using that before Kevin Durant signed there. They didn't really play it that much. It was used for like 3.5, 4 minutes a game, but those 4 minutes, they were outscoring people by like 10. And this is one of those lineups to me that it's like, okay, if they are playing a smaller team, I mean, live with the defense. If someone gets hot from 3, then you just sub it out and move on with your day. But
it's not like the defense is that good with their normal sized lineups.
Exactly. It's Nas Reed really going to be worse than like Rob and ISO? Like, I don't know. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's just you kind of file it away of like, okay, that's interesting. Like if they are playing the Lakers and DeAndre Ayton's in foul trouble, do they just march that out there and kind of dare Luka to shoot every shot as a 3? You know, I think, you know, the other takeaway from this game that I want to get to, but I'm going to run some ads here first, because if I don't do them now, I'm going to forget about it and then I'll get in trouble. But I do want to talk more Julius Randle, because I feel like, you know, Jaden's probably the most surprising person in this Ant stretch, but Julius has been, I mean, he's been phenomenal. But first we got to get to ads. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. So I just looked this up here, and including the game tonight, Julius has the second best offensive rating on the Wolves and the fourth best defensive rating on the Wolves. When he is paired with Rudy Gobert, he's basically just phenomenal. I mean, defensively, those two as a pairing have been great. Offensively, I mean, they're looking for each other. They're running big screens now. I mean, Julius seems like he has gone up another level, even from the playoffs, which I didn't really think was possible. I'll be honest. Like, I thought if we just got end of the season Julius, like this would be a competitive team. If Julius is just a triple double threat every night now, like I don't know what that does for Ant's career, but like if you're not able to double him because of Julius, this could be an even more exciting season. I mean, I feel like you guys over at Crunch Wears No Pants are kind of the captains of the Julius Randle fan club. But like, what has this been kind of like for you seeing Julius this season? Because again, he looks different. Like everything across the board is better.
Yeah, I mean, they can try to silence us. They can try to take our video from us, but Julius Randle gives us those goosebumps every time, all the same. No, I mean, like you said, so the Julius Randle like goosebumps video thing, like it started as a bit, obviously. But we were I was kind of always on the train early in the Julius Randle tenure that he was getting kind of like an outsized amount of the blame for the lack of success for the Wolves at the beginning of last season, and just kind of like held out hope that like there is. I know we act like this is brand new territory for him, but this is like a pretty similar player to the version of him that was making all NBA teams for the Knicks. And I think it's just like, it's super, super encouraging that the version of him that we saw those last like 20 or so games and into the playoffs has carried forward into this season. And it's basically that version of him, but instead of 17 points a game, it's 25 points a game. Like he's basically, he's instead of being just like, I'm Julius Randle, I'm a passer, he is just so much more comfortable at like kind of making the reads and doing the right things. Cause the version of him at the end of the last season basically just kind of like fell into like, I am the primary playmaker on the team. And now because of the need of Ant being down, Ant being gone, and just kind of like another year of him becoming more comfortable, I think he's become more like assertive offensively too. And there will be ups and downs with Julius Randle as there always are, as there are with all players. But there is such like a sustainability to his game that this team specifically like desperately needed. Because like, I don't want to do the Julius Randle versus Karl Anthony Towns thing, but like those teams had loads and loads of offensive talent, but there was very, very little kind of like consistent bankability to it. It was like, there was like a lot of upside. Like Anthony Edwards has been this like up, down. The highs are super high. The lows are super low. Kind of the same with Karl Anthony Towns being like really 3-point reliant. But with Julius Randle, it's just like, he can get to the rim. He can get to the foul line consistently. Like the free throws, that's a huge thing, is that last season was the lowest amount of free throws he had shot since he left the Lakers, where he was basically like a sixth man. And now his free throw rate is like back up at the number that it was when he was making all NBA teams. It's like 6 or 7 free throws a game. And that is so important just for like, that's just like free points. That's not going to like wax and wane with how well are you shooting it. Like the 3-point shooting has been great, but he was 0 for 3 tonight. And he was still super impactful offensively because he was getting to the rim, he was finishing, he was making his free throws, and he was playmaking out of it. It's just like when teams can't guard him with one, there's just like he's just
there's nothing you
automatic
can do.
Offense right now. And so I'm interested to see like as they start to play some better teams. There are teams that are going to be able to guard him with one. I mean, that's what was kind of what did them in the Oklahoma City series last year, was that the Thunder didn't have to bring a double to Julius Randle. So there's still some like stuff because the schedule has been so easy that we haven't kind of had to see him overcome yet. But when teams have to double him, it's just automatic offense, because you're going to double him, he's going to find an open man, they're going to make a three, or you're not going to double him and he's going to go and he's going to get a layup, or he's going to get to the free throw line.
And he seems a half step quicker on those decisions this year. Like he's still like is a little bit like when you're watching him play and you're not watching like the whole play kind of develop. I mean, he still takes the ball and just kind of dribbles it into the ground for 3.5 seconds sometimes. But like last year, that was like 5 seconds or 4.5 seconds. And I mean, I guess I'll just ask you, like, if Julius is going to be this type of like offensive hub, and assuming when Ant comes back, 30% of the usage is going to go back to him and he's going to be an offensive hub. Like, how much do you value the whole point guard thing of it all? Where I think among the fan base, it's a really big topic still of, Ja Morant gets suspended by his team and everyone's asking if Ja's going to get traded here. We played against LaMelo Ball, and in the post-game live stream, a couple people asked if LaMelo Ball was on the trade block. I don't think they're going to get a point guard.
Too unserious. LaMelo Ball hasn't played a basketball game that mattered since he was like 12 years old.
But I mean, I guess now that I've seen, it's only 7 games. Like you said, the competition hasn't been great, but I feel like this is just what the Wolves are going to do. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't think they really have. I don't really think they have any other options. So I am not in the boat that like the Wolves need to solve their point guard problem by getting some sort of like traditional small quarterback of some younger version of Mike Conley or anything like that. Like I am not in that boat. I think if there is a fatal flaw with the operation, and a thing that as good a playmaker as Julius is, that I don't think he's good at, is I do think there is like a lack of just like general ball handling on the team, but I don't think that needs to be like your grandpa's point guard or anything like that. Like, so I am still a little concerned with like, if you're just going to be like the ball handling duty belongs to Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, when teams really, really ramp up like the full court pressure, like how are they going to handle it? Because I would much rather like, and like I said, I don't think there's like a great answer to this on the roster, because like, I don't think it's Dante.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of finding themselves in this situation where it's like, there kind of has to be one of Mike or Rob or Bones on the floor. Like those are probably the reliable ball handlers. Like Ant can maybe get there, but that's just a lot of energy to have your best player expend to also be like, all right, every time the other team makes a shot, you've got a defender in your face and you got to get it up the court 94 feet. Like, so
it's the calories of it, right? Like it's kind of the same thing for Mike last year. Like, can Mike bring the ball up and break press? 100%. He can really effectively, but can he do it 25 times against Alex Caruso? Probably wasting a lot of energy doing that.
And then like the problem with Mike is like, he can get it up against the press, but then like they set a pick for him and he steps inside the 3-point line and the defense is like, all right, go guard everyone else. We don't care what Mike's going to do. He's inside the 3-point line. So like, I think in like some idealized version of the future of the team, like whatever the Dante DiVincenzo role is, like that second guard next to Ant, if you can find a more competent ball handler that can deal with some full court pressure without making it a little tiny guy that has to have a million pick and rolls set for him and tell everyone where to go on offense. Like that's what all these teams are striving for. That's what the Houston Rockets are trying to do. Like that's what the Orlando Magic were trying to do before they brought in Tyus Jones, and that's been a disaster. Tyus Jones has been terrible. Yeah. So like, I do think like, I don't know. I'm kind of like straddling the answer where it's like, I don't think the answer is like a true point guard, but I do think there is a ball handling issue that if I'm like pegging what's going to do in this team, it's like they might run into a team in the playoffs like the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Portland Trailblazers that can like pressure the hell out of you, and they might just not have the horses to dribble it up the court enough. And that's what the transition thing is, hopefully. The transition thing is supposed to take away those things, and it's be like, let's just get the ball up the court before they can even get in our face.
Yep. I mean, literally, that's what it is let's try and get points before they're set. And if we don't get points before they're set, I mean, how many times do we see it tonight where they're just inbounding it to the half court line just to avoid the whole thing? I completely agree with you. I mean, Dante, we kind of saw it in the Portland game where he just I just don't think he has the ball handling chops to be able to do it consistently. They ended up going to TJ a lot, which was interesting, but also like TJ kind of has like the runaway freight train type of problem where like you don't know if he's just going to like truck somebody and like TJ someone's going to get hurt.
TJ, if he gets going in a direction, he is going to stay going that direction until he gets to the hoop or someone gets in his way.
And neither outcome is particularly good.
And it's on offense and it's on defense. Like I've never seen a guy that just like sprints directly into players with the ball as much as he does.
I mean, it must be terrifying to play against him though. Of just
I think it was like
this man coming full speed.
Yeah, it was like the third or fourth game of the season. He had one where he just like jumped and like kneed a guy in the head because he was just like moving so fast.
TJ is like, he's also like Jaden, where like you talk to TJ and it's like, oh, this is such an unassuming young man. And then you see him on the court and it's like, oh, he could like rip somebody's head off if he wanted to. Like plays with just like literally ruthless aggression, WWE drop there. But like, I feel similar. I'll just be honest, like for Wolves fans that are tuning into this, like I don't think they're going to do anything. I think, you know, if Mike can go into the playoffs healthy, if Rob can take a quarter of a step forward, I think they'll feel pretty good about it. But I mean, the other thing is the guy that you're describing, right? That's like your Derek Whites, your Steven Castles, your guys that are not
those
small.
Guys are expensive.
They are.
Everybody wants those guys.
And they are on teams trying to win a championship. Like you're not going to rip Derek White away from the Celtics. There's a reason they traded everybody but Derek White.
But also if Derek White, if the Celtics said tomorrow, like, all right, we're open for business, we're going to trade Derek White. It's like the Wolves could probably field like something close to a fair market offer for Derek White that would probably like rip the team down to the studs. And then like, the Oklahoma City Thunder would be like, wow, that's the perfect player to make our team even more unstoppable. And we have 50 first round picks. So we win that negotiation. Same with like the Rockets, like, oh, wow, the exact player we've been looking for. Like, I just don't think they're going to win bidding wars at this point for players of that quality. So they have to, if they are going to address it, it has to be more of a, I mean, like they've done this a couple times. Like they did it with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like they've half done it. I mean, he's been pretty bad the last couple of games, but like they've gotten more out of Bones Highland for a guy that they just randomly signed on a two-way in the middle of last season than anyone could have reasonably expected. And like, there still seems to be like maybe a semi-useful player in there. Like it's more going to have to be, if they're going to address it, finding some sort of diamond in the rough second draft guy that's kind of failed in a bad situation that they believe in the skills of. And so there's no like projecting for that. Like that just kind of happens.
It's also like, when D'Lo got traded to Utah for Mike and Nikhil, like D'Lo had kind of worn out his welcome. Like there was signs on the wall of like, oh, this dude's going to be gone at some point. Like the Karl Anthony Towns trade, like it shocked everybody naturally, but like looking back on it, it's like, oh yeah, if they didn't trade Cat, I mean, Nas, Nikhil, everyone's gone. Like it's just the new reality of this apron structure. I feel like the Wolves don't really have anyone like that on this team. Like, I mean, you look at like the big three of like Julius, Ant, and Jaden, let's say. Like Ant and Jaden, I think they are like a package deal at this point. Like they're Tatum and Brown, Jordan and Pippen, whatever you want to compare them to. Like that's kind of their career arc. And Randall, like he's still in the exact same spot he was last year, where he doesn't make enough to just
he's on a fantastic contract now. Like you're just that's just going to be like a hard contract to want to trade. If like this is the player Julius Randle is, and you've got him for $33 million the next 2 seasons after this, like
because he would be like, if he hit the market today, he's a $45 million player.
Yeah, I mean that like so that's and once again, I wouldn't put anything past Tim Connolly. Like he traded Karl Anthony Towns coming off the best season in franchise history, like 11 minutes before the first preseason game. So like I'm not saying that it can't happen, but like, and like I said, there's potential. Like I could see them get to a point at around the trade deadline where they're like, we really like Dante DiVincenzo, but we would really like for our $10 million guard next to Julius and Ant, like let's turn the shooting sliders down and pull the ball handling sliders a little bit up, like find that version of a $10 million player and make that swap or something like that. But I agree. I don't think this is the season that they're going to make some massive sea-changing trade. And as much as I think people would like for them to move off of Rudy, I don't think that's like a super tradable contract at this point. And like he is just going to be more valuable to the Wolves than he is going to be to other teams on the trade market right now. Because as bad as he's been this season, he represents basically the only competent defense they can play.
When Rudy is playing, the Wolves have a top 10 defense. When Rudy is off the floor, it is a 135 defensive rating, which is, if you take that out for an entire season, that is historically would be the worst defense ever played since they started keeping track.
and he's been good these last couple of games against some inferior opponents, which is kind of like the Rudy superpower, is that he's able to kind of grind your way through these games against these inferior opponents. So I don't want to like rip him too much, but I will say like they have a top 10 defense with him on the court, right? Which is like, yes, that is better than the worst defense with him off the court. But the idea of Rudy Gobert has always been that when you have Rudy Gobert on the floor, you have the best defense, because the offense
I'm just going to add some context that'll work for you here. Their offense, number 1 in the league when Rudy is sitting, 27th when Rudy is playing.
Yeah. And so you
That's
can
the
live
Rudy
with
Gobert experience.
Yeah. And you can live with that negative offensive stuff from Rudy Gobert when having him on the floor means you have the best defense in the league. But right now, having him on the floor means you have the 10th best defense in the league. And so that is just not like up to the standard that he needs to be to like make that value proposition work. But the issue that they run into is that he is basically the only competent like defensive center on the roster. So they don't have a happy medium that they can go to. So they're kind of at this point, like they're kind of stuck in this, like, we just need to find a way to make it better. And I think there's things they can do. Like, I think Jalen Clark playing more with Rudy so that like really lean into the defense when he's on there with point of attack defense. Like being better. It's like the offense, if the offense is going to suck with Rudy on there, like why not put all the best defenders out there and just be like, let's make it 0-0 until the bench comes in.
So Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert they are, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, fourth on the team with a net rating if you've played more than 25 minutes together as a two-man group. So they have a 13.5 net rating. Their defensive rating is 113.8. Naz Reid and Gobert, 14.3 net rating, third highest on the team. Their defensive rating is 96.2. Now, unfortunately, when you look at Randall and Naz, it is not great, which I'm just trying to find it here again because I have to scroll down quite a bit to get to Julius Randle and Naz
It's
Reid.
like 135, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little better. It's actually worse than we thought. It's 137.2. So like until that's more manageable, I mean, you can't trade Rudy and then have that be a lineup. Those two can't play 35 minutes together if that's the output, which,
and I think
to your point about Rudy too, I think a lot of Wolves fans look at Rudy as like, oh, we could just get rid of his contract. Like, why wouldn't another team want him? And there's enough of a track record now that Rudy Gobert needs like a year to figure out what he's doing with new teammates. They have to change the defense from whatever they're running to a more drop scheme. And like when you're looking at like players, like I see him all the time mocked in De'Aaron Fox trades. Like the Spurs have Sohan and Wembanyama. They're not trading for Rudy Gobert.
Also,
I mean,
I think De'Aaron Fox is a nice player. I want no part of that De'Aaron Fox contract.
It's the same thing with Morant. I mean, why would Memphis want Rudy Gobert? Why would Boston want Rudy Gobert? Like it's such a hard proposition to try and make because any team that trades for him knows like, all right, we're gonna have to revamp our whole roster to fit around this guy, and he's now in his mid-30s. Like,
and I think
that's ancient for a 7'3" guy.
Yeah, and I think it's something that like we have to let the season play out. They played 7 games, but I certainly think it's something that they're going to be like open to exploring in the offseason, but I just think it's an easier trade to make in the offseason too than it is to make at the trade deadline, which like, because to your point, he's not just a guy that you plug in. Like you have to completely reinvent yourself around Rudy Gobert. Like you don't trade for Rudy Gobert on a whim. You trade for Rudy Gobert because you're building a Rudy Gobert team.
And I like the other thing with Rudy is just like you mentioned it with, he does good against bad teams. Like he is a guy that like is a professional. Like he doesn't take days off unless he's about to die. He works really hard on his body. I mean, Johan Berenjay, his locker room is next to Rudy, or his locker stalls next to Rudy's, and like they're eating the same acai bowls before every game now, and like Johan follows him around everywhere, which Rudy's an interesting guy. So
hopefully he picks up a lot of basketball things.
Yeah, I would say Rudy is like one of the best basketball mentors you can have. I don't know. I mean, I'll just say Rudy's always been good to me, like as a member of the press. So like I genuinely enjoy talking to him. But like, I think he's widely considered starting COVID in the NBA, which is a tough look. But it's also just like he does mean something for this team. Like I do think that trade, as cliche as it is to say, like, we brought Rudy in to bring in a winning culture. Like that's what Rudy Gobert is. He is a winning culture.
Yeah. And I mean, regardless of what happens this season, like if the early few games of this season are any indicator of like, we've seen the decline of Rudy Gobert, like if all of that is true, I really think we should emphasize that does not invalidate the trade. I think it's very, very hard to make a case that was the worst trade in NBA history. Like you can quibble with how many assets they gave up. Like, could they have gotten it done for one less first round pick? Like, sure, maybe. But I think it's silly at this point to look at what has happened and see the Timberwolves have had 2 of the 3 best seasons in the history of their franchise with Rudy Gobert. He has won a Defensive Player of the Year. He has taken a historically inept defensive franchise and turned them to a perennial good defensive team. And the Wolves' whole future that we traded to the Utah Jazz, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA for the 4th year in a row now. Like Walker Kessler, who's supposedly his rookie year was as good as Rudy Gobert already. He hasn't played in a meaningful NBA game since he got here. Half of those picks have already conveyed, and they're not good players. Like Keontae George is just an inefficient point guard that is probably never going to be helpful on a good team. So I just really find it hard. And the rest of the players that they traded all got traded or cut, signed minimums. Leandro Bolmaro's out of the NBA. Pat Bev's out of the NBA. Malik Beasley signed a couple minimums before having a giant betting scandal. Like Jared Vanderbilt kind of sucks now. It's very hard for me to look back on that trade and say bad trade. And even the extension, sure, the proposition of paying Rudy Gobert $35 million 2 years from now is scary, but we also have to factor in that the extension is what allowed them to have the flexibility to sign Julius Randle to this team-friendly contract and keep Naz Reid. Without that extension,
they don't do that extension, it's one or the other.
Yeah, without that extension, Rudy was going to opt in, and they were probably going to lose Naz in free agency because I don't think they were going to be able to pass up the proposition of paying Julius Randle the contract that he's on.
Yeah.
And I think that would suck.
I think money-wise, if Rudy opts in, they probably can keep Nickeil and one of those two.
So
you're putting a lot of faith in Nickeil.
This has not been validated by anything. I just heard this on a podcast and it got me. I questioned it because I never heard Dane or anyone talk about it. The Wolves were apparently not allowed to pay Nickeil that much. What he got from the Hawks was more than he was eligible to make from the Wolves because there's something about percentage raise on bird rights or something. It's his contract was so small last year that it precluded him from signing with bird rights to the Wolves. I don't know the rules of this. I don't know if this is even true. I think I heard this on group chat for the Ringer or something.
So it's not like the Wolves were only able to offer him $6 million and the Hawks offered him 16, right? Or whatever he signed with the Hawks. The Wolves, I think, could offer him 11 and the Hawks could offer him whatever. Because when you're re-signing a player to your team, you can go over the first apron, you can go over the second apron, but you have to keep their rights. And when you're re-signing somebody based off of their rights, you can only do the percentage increase that the bird rights allow for.
Yeah. And so now that was the point, was basically that there's a chance Nickeil would have just said yeah, I appreciate my time here, but they're offering me $6 million more dollars or $5 million more dollars over 4 years. I can't turn this down. He hadn't made that much money yet.
The tricky part for the Wolves in that situation is if they were to let's say Rudy opts in, Julius opts out so they can re-sign him. Naz opts out, Nickeil's a free agent. They technically could sign Nickeil as a true free agent and offer him more, and then sign Julius second and offer him kind of the same.
Wouldn't they have had
contract?
I don't know. This is I am not qualified to be talking about this.
No, I'm just saying but that's still not as good as having Julius and Naz. I love what Nickeil's doing in Atlanta. That dude is awesome. He's one of the most thoughtful people in sports that I've talked to. He's just a great guy. I'm so happy for his success. That being said, he was part of the problem last year. They had 8 wings that all deserved playing time, and there was no playing time. So if you take out Naz off of this team and you just throw Nickeil in, the ball handling's good, but now Johan and Leonard Miller are your backup bigs. That's not ideal.
And Leonard Miller might just not be very good. He's very tall.
Everyone says he's the funniest guy on the team. So I think
That's what Dane
Lenny's a vibes guy.
And you know what? The 13th guy on the end of the bench can be a vibes guy.
Yep. He works really hard. Like he's in the gym, like before practice, when media gets there, he's working out. After practice, when media has their avail, he's working out. Like he shows up early. He's super funny. I think, there's just something with Leonard Miller that might be not up to par. And he's a great dude. His locker's next to Ant. Like he's all vibes.
It's amazing that we're talking about Leonard Miller right now. He had 2 points
50
tonight.
minutes into a podcast, we're talking about Lenny.
We haven't even talked about Dante yet. Dante was great tonight.
Yeah, we're at 51 minutes. Let's do a couple minutes on Dante. A broken nose. Can't imagine how painful that is to play in a not fitted mask. He had tape all over the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Kept coming unsnapped because he got hit in the face he got hit on it in the first quarter.
Which, here's the thing. If someone has a broken nose, you just tap them in the mask. That hurts a ton by all accounts. YT says in the chat, the Nas situation is exactly what happened with Hartenstein in New York. Yes, that is exactly what happened with Nikhil. It's one of the really stupid ways the NBA makes it very hard to actually build a contender from within. But Dante I don't know. I'll ask you, does he just keep the mask now? I mean, this is 2 games with a broken nose. He's been unbelievable. Is this just Rip Hamilton?
So, I mean, as the head of the Nas Reed game committee, I will say masked Dante has never not had a Nas Reed game. He's on 2 in a row. But yeah, I mean, if he's going to average 25, 9, and 6 while wearing the mask, yeah, he should never take the mask off. But yeah, we talked about this a little bit on our episode last week too. Dante is going to look really good when he is making half of his 3-pointers like he has over the last handful of games. And he is certainly capable of doing that. What I liked about tonight, in addition to making half of his 3-pointers, was that he got back to the version of Dante from last year during that really good stretch where he was rebounding really well. Because I don't think he's going to be, we've talked about this already, I don't think he's going to be super impactful as a ball handler. I think the defender that we thought we were getting when we made the Cat trade might have been oversold a little bit. He certainly works his ass off on that end, but there are just some limitations wingspan, athleticism wise, that he is just not a viable point of attack defender against really good ball handlers. So he needs to find ways to be impactful in ways that are not just shooting, because as good a shooter as he is, there are just going to be nights where he goes 2 for 10 instead of 5 for 10. And if he can be the rebounder that he's shown the ability to be, that he was tonight, and do some of the secondary playmaking, I don't want to see you take more than 1 dribble, Dante, but if you can pump fake 1 dribble and then hit a skip pass to the other side to an open 3-point shooter, I trust you to do those things. He was firing on those cylinders, and those are probably the playmaking stuff probably cascades a little bit from the shot making. They have to overplay him a little bit. But yeah, like I said, the 3-point shooting is great. That's gravy. That is what he's on the team for. But I felt like he made some more positive impacts beyond that tonight too, that I think are encouraging for the future.
His offensive rebounding is one of the most impressive shooting guard skills, I think, in the NBA right now. He crashes so hard from above the break, wings, to get those offensive rebound chances that I mean, that alone is worth having Dante out there. The one thing I worry about with Dante though is when he is having those 2 for 10 games, he doesn't really pull out of them very well. I feel
you gotta stop shooting those floaters. It's he misses a couple threes and then he thinks he's the best floater shooter in the world. I've never seen that shot go in.
Which maybe it's just he's trying to get fouled, but I mean, Dante in the playoffs last year, Oklahoma City wasn't guarding him. Like, again, we can talk about with that Oklahoma City series, all the things that went wrong on it. But like, there was large portions of those games where they were just like, sure, Dante, shoot the corner three. And like, I'd like to see more consistency out of his shot. And if the mask is bringing him consistency, I mean, who knows? You never know. And like, NBA players are so weirdly superstitious that like, maybe this is just like,
I mean,
Rip
Hamilton literally broke his nose, put on a mask, and never took it off. Like, he wore a mask the rest of his career.
I mean, literally the rest of his career, which, I mean, hey, I'm not going to hate on it. I think he will look better in a custom fitted mask where he doesn't have like
one that the straps aren't ripping off all over the place.
So bad. Like, that was one of those, I mean, him coming back in you know, the win over blanking, because now we're at minute
Charlotte
55. The win over Charlotte was like crazy enough. That mask looked so incredibly uncomfortable. It kept fogging on him. So during timeouts, he was like wiping the inside of it off. Like, woof. They got to get a mask guy on the road with them.
Well, they've got 3 guys wearing masks right now when Rocco's active. And I do love that the injury designation on the injury report, if they're available, is just a face mask. Like, it's not their injury. It's like, Ant out with a hamstring. Dante available with face mask.
Just like, man, I couldn't believe that he was playing through that tonight. But hey, they won. Brandon, I'm going to cut it off there, because if we keep talking, we're going to start getting into like, oh gosh, Tristan Newton is on the G League team, I saw. So we can fire off some Tristan Newton takes next time. Are you guys going down for a G League game this year?
Yeah, we haven't picked a date yet. We gotta align it with Jally's DJ schedule. That's the tricky part about getting to Iowa, is we got to make it on a weekend, and Jordan's job is exclusively on weekends. So, but we're gonna find a day, and then we're gonna try, I think, this year we're gonna try to get it in advance enough that we can promote it a little bit, and maybe have a deal with the Wolves to get like kind of a caravan to go down there and get Panty Nation all at the Iowa Wolves game.
Hey, I mean, pick a game where Rocco is going to play. Fans love Rocco. Like,
I got to see Rocco. That guy, we saw him from a distance at Summer League. That guy is huge.
I haven't talked to you since this, but before he went down to Iowa, I asked him, because he went to like probably 15 Lynx games this year, and he'd always sit like with the public, which is just abnormal for these giant human beings. And he is 7'3" conservatively, I would say. And I asked him, I'm like, how do you like blend in? And he's like, oh, I just wear a hat. No one notices.
It's like, no, and I guarantee you there's not a single person that sees Rocco Zakarski walking the Target Center concourse and isn't like, look at the giant guy.
Just like, awesome wit, just a super good kid. Like, he's delightful. They also have Tristan Newton down there. He was going to be with the main roster, lost his two-way spot. A lot of the guys from last year, CJ Fulton, the Irish guy from Summer League, is on their Iowa team. I believe he's the first Irish born player that's playing in the G League.
You said that during Summer League. Is Martez Brown still on the roster?
I believe he is.
I really liked him when we went to the Iowa game. Full disclosure, I don't like watch the Iowa Wolves games on television, but when we went to the Iowa game last year, I really liked him. He plays really hard.
We are at the Iowa Wolves portion of this podcast. Brandon, I want to give you the space. Anything you want to plug? Anything coming out? I feel like we've plugged Crunch Wears No Pants, but feel free to do it again. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. So follow our podcast. Follow me on Twitter, Brandon Beck 4. Follow our podcast at No Pants Crunch, and you can follow my buddies who are my co-hosts, Nate Alsdorf, that's at Talsdorf, and Jordan Alamat at Tornado Jally. And listen to our podcast, Crunch Wears No Pants. It's available in all your feeds. We record about once a week. We talk hoops. We talk weird Wolves history. We talk pop culture. We did a Princess draft last week, in honor of the Princess jerseys. We got a little bit of everything. And we kind of like, our goal is we're we're not going to out analytics the analytics folks. So our goal is to more do the vibes. Want to be like your friends talking to you in a bar about the Wolves. So tune in and should have an episode Thursday or Friday this week.
Look at these guys, model of weekly episodes this year.
Maybe we've talked about doing some like emergency post-game episodes after really exciting games too this year. That's all just dependent on Durf's having a baby. I've got a job. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. Everyone go follow him on social. If you tuned in to this madness at hour 50 or at minute 57 and you wanted to listen to the entire thing, it will be live on YouTube at The Missing Minnesota. And it will be up anywhere you get your podcasts tomorrow at 7 a.m. That would be, Tuesday. And we'll be back after the Knicks game. Kyle Teige's joining the show after the Knicks game for some fun cat talk, I'm sure. Hopefully they can
and some great analogies, I'm sure.
A lot of really good analogies. Kyle's just awesome. But yeah, look forward to Kyle. Follow Brandon and the Crunch guys, and we will see you after the Knicks game.